Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy the Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, we are going to be looking at the Everdell Oversized cards that come in these two boxes, which I will say, these are nice boxes. You can put them on your shelf, you can make a picture like this, or you could spin them around and make a picture of which would be the Ancient Orchard, or Ancient Orchard from one of the Discovery cards, I believe, from Spirecrest. Or you could stack them like so to make a picture of the Evertree. And so a few different ways you can place these boxes on your shelves. But I'm just going to dive in to give you an idea what you can expect if you are going to be getting these oversized cards. If Everdell is too hard for you to read, some of the cards have quite a bit of flavor text and the writing is quite small. These just change that and make it a little bit more, user-friendly from a visual side of things, maybe not from practicality. But I'm going to dive into, I just want to show you what exactly you get and how you would use it in Everdell. I'm going to kind of show you the different cards and what you would get in for the expansions and what I see myself using in the future. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to wipe this all out. I'm going to set up and create two identical cities of the normal size cards and the oversized cards to show how much more table space you will in fact need. But let's start with the Evertree. I'm going to take off these special events. Whether you can read them or not, I don't know. But let's talk about the Evertree. It's the focal point of Everdell. This is the wooden version. And you'll ask, do the cards fit in the Evertree? Under the Evertree? Well, yes and no. So as you can see, I have them under the tree. I'm going to see if this is going to work, if you'll be able to tell. They do fit, and if I flip it, hopefully these cards don't go everywhere. You can see, yes, they do fit, but the higher they go, the whole Evertree starts to bow. So I'm kind of nervous right now, actually, that this could wreck my wooden Evertree. But and I don't even know if you can see the bowing of this of the wood there. But yes, they do fit. I don't think it would physically be possible to sleeve these cards and still have them fit. But there's that. Okay, let's move back to these special events. I will agree. Sometimes the writing on the special events is pretty small, depending on how big your table is, how many players you're playing with. I typically play Everdell with just Nicole and myself. So we're not super far away from the components, so we can see and we can read and whatever, Courthouse and Ranger. And this one you need, 2 Tan Travelers and 2 governance cards. But what happens, when you activate it? The hot air balloon, when achieved, you may discard 1 card for each Tan Traveler in your city, gain 1 victory point for each discarded card. Okay, so I can see the typography on that is a little bit more challenging. If you have the oversized cards, they are considerably bigger. So in comparison even, they're quite a bit bigger. And comparing text and like legibility, it's much easier to read these cards. The font is actually a little bit easier in comparison. I think they use the same font as the names of the cards, instead of this, I guess, more fancy script of sorts. So these on the Evertree, they fit. And when you play with 5 or 6 players, you play with more special events compared to a 2, 3, and 4 player game. So clearly that would be a little bit of a challenge to get more than 4 cards sitting on the Evertree. But those are what you would get. Standard playing size cards. I like them. I don't know if I would necessarily see myself using these all that often, because it just looks bulky to me, and that's like a personal opinion, a personal preference. And so take it for what it is. Let's move to the forest locations. Okay, you got the normal ones here, typically like this, and then you have the oversized ones. Considerably easier to read. They actually don't take up that much more space. Like they do, but there is that extra allotted space on the board for these. So I can see myself getting these into play more often than for sure the special events. But they don't take up much more space than that. But then as you see these cards, and I'm going to push this up, you got the Journey and you got the Haven, because the oversized cards in general just take up more space. This is typically where your discard pile would be, especially when you're playing Spirecrest. That expansion sets in here, and so that would just make it for a real mess, in my opinion. It would make it for a real mess. This is fine. It is what it is. The Journey, it fits there, but I'm just not a fan of cards like overlapping on the board per se. I do think that when you have these cards and you're reading like what the card does, or the special ability, or endgame scoring, or anything like that, like it's very, very legible in comparison. So here we got the Town Crier here and the Town Crier here. Okay, so I like it that you can see more art on these oversized cards, which makes sense. The font is considerably bigger, but it does also take up that much more space in the meadow. Same with the Haven. You have a little thing like this. So this is what you could expect. I have the other cards. The player powers, they are typically the same size as these ones. So these, I love these. Full-size cards, player powers. It's got all the writing. Like the text is nice and big. Explains it. It's the same as what's on the small ones, but they'll shuffle a lot nicer, or a lot easier than these Euro minis. I think that's the size of these small ones, but they will shuffle easier. And so that's that. If I go to, let's say, the Pearlbrook expansion, these would be the adornment cards, which again would be the small ones. Full-size cards. Great artwork. It just shows more of the detail of their work. Sea Glass Amulet, one of my favorites. So I like those. I can see us using those. I can see us using these. Then moving into, let's say, Spirecrest, okay? These, I love the artwork, the tornado. I love the artwork of the weather. I don't have the Spirecrest board underneath, but there's virtually spaces much like this for the size of the small cards. And so putting these out would just make it very, very messy. Then you also have all of the visitor cards, which would be very similar. In the New Leaf expansion, that would come on the side. And again, typically there would be 2 stacks of visitors. I think these would fit more effectively than say the weather ones. And as you can hear, I'm saying I think I haven't put them on the board because I haven't used them. I personally never found the size of the font to be an issue in Everdell, but I know others have. So I haven't used these in New Leaf. You got these giant cards for the Discovery cards in the Spirecrest expansion. I like it that it has all like a big area of the artwork, because again, the artwork is amazing. What the card does is very, very easy to read. And so from across the table, you'll be able to see that very easily. Coriander, nice. So these would be the Discovery cards. They're actually the same size as the Everdell cards. And then I believe the last thing would be the Probrook cards. And these are probably my favorite. Not probably. They are my favorite because the layout of them I like a lot. Because on the normal cards, which I don't have right now, what you have to pay is along the bottom. And in here, they're on the left or the right. Are they all on the right side? No. Yeah, they're all on they're all on the left side. So they're all on the left side, and then it has all that beautiful artwork on the outside, and then it has whether it's a location or a citizen. So I love the look of these cards. I can see using these wouldn't cause for that much just clutter. But that's what you get in these oversized cards. For me personally, it's more of a clutter aspect, and maybe it's a little bit OCD when I play Everdell. I like things nice and neat and tidy and things like that. Typically, whenever I play games, my table is kind of everything's off the table except the game boxes. They're all out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind as well. But this is what it looks like if you play with these oversized cards. I'm going to move this. I'm going to put a city of the original Everdell cards on my left and a city, a matching duplicate city of the exact same cards on the right of the oversized cards. And then we can get a good idea as to the size difference of table space that one might need. So let's check that out right now. So before I show you the size comparison of these two cities, I'm going to quickly show you the Spire Crest. If you would be playing with the Spire Crest expansion, this is what it would look like. I'm going to put these cards here in their spots, and then I would take one of these and one of these, one of the summer ones, Drought, awful, and one of the spring. So there is some space. You still put your little rabbit. Honestly, I don't even use the rabbit anymore because I know what season I'm in. But if you're using your little rabbit traveler, you put them around. So there is space for these. It's not as cluttered as one might think. These would then flip over. You'd put them underneath here. 1, 2, and 3. So there is space for those. But this is what it would look like if you would be playing with the Spire Crest expansion. Of course, the base game would go here, and your discard pile would be right there. But now let's remove this and look at these two cities side by side. Okay, so here I have two identical cities. I do believe they are identical. One being just the normal size Everdell cards, and the other one being the oversized playing cards. So as you clearly see, you can probably read all of this much better than you can read all of this. At the same time, it takes up considerably more room. So yes, you have more artwork, which I will say, like say the shopkeeper, for instance, you can see his little feet on the oversized cards, whereas on the normal cards you cannot. And so you do get more of the amazing artwork from Andrew Bosley. That is for sure. But I think you lose a little bit on how much table space you will actually need. So there you have it. I'm not going to tell you whether or not these cards are for you. I will leave that up to you. But I did want to, and I do want to show what you can expect if you are in fact getting these oversized playing cards. And so there you have it. It's not necessarily a review. It is a review, but it's not a review. It's up to you. I'm not going to spend your money. Everdell, my favorite game. I will not be using the oversized playing cards. I will be using the player powers. I will, when I play Probrook, be using the adornment cards. I most likely, when I'm playing Probrook, will be using the river destination cards. I potentially may use these cards the forest locations, and maybe on occasion the special events, the big ones. But I cannot decide if these cards are for you. You can make that decision, and hopefully I was able to help you now make that decision a little bit easier. My name is Brent. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.